What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Do me a favor and share this one if you would with someone that you think can benefit. I want to talk about a concern that I'm sure all of us, regardless of our race, has been noticing. Seemed like a lot more over the years, and that is in the black community, especially, even though it will affect everybody. A lot of the young brothers, the YNs as we call them, the young ninjas, are walking around strapped up like they in the military, and they're taking each other out without any regard of life, of value, of the families on both sides of people who are going to be disrupted, and the tears and all that goes along with those kinds of issues. And I'm having you specific words here for YouTube, but I believe y'all understand what I'm saying. The young men that are walking around with firepower, the ability to hurt and unalive many people in a few seconds. And they're doing it. And I used to volunteer in a boys' home to try to get some understanding. Of course, I grew up around some of them type guys, so I also had my own personal reference of what's going on. And I want to talk about it in this video. Nas, one of my favorite rappers, back in '96 on his album It Was Written, wrote a song called I Gave You Power. And what he did was he used a metaphor where he humanized the firearm as if it was thinking like a human and telling the story of how he gave power to those who picked it up. And one of the lines or the lyrics in the song was, for those of you that remember, how you like me now. I go blow. I'm the ish that move crowds, making every ghetto foul. I might have took your child's life, crippled your style. I gave you power. I made you buck wild. How you like me now? That's a very powerful song because even though it was written in '96, it kind of describes what's going on today. When you see these young boys walking around and they can have these mean looks on their faces and they're very aggressive in their behavior, you would ask yourself, how in the world are they acting like this? What is giving them the kind of aggression that they will actually mean mug and stare down a grown man who, if we wanted to, we could really grab them and do some damage, but they have no fear of that at all. What's giving them that kind of power? And what's giving them that kind of power is because they know that on their possession, in their book bag that they got on their back, or in the waist line of their jeans, they know that they have the ability to end things real quick. That is a lot of power. When you are immature, when you are irresponsible, when you are young, and you realize that within your hand, in the song that Nas said, I'm the ish that move crowds. You can go into any parking lot and people can be laughing and giggling and just not even trying to take somebody out. You can just let off 4 rounds in the air, blah, 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 and watch everybody scatter. That's a lot of power. You can get into it with somebody and they just be jaw jacking, as we used to say, telling you what it's about to be. And you can raise your shirt and show them something hooked into your boxers and watch them simmer down. That's a lot of power. You can get into it with somebody, maybe even have a body on you or a so-called body on you. Have been in a situation and the word got out. So and so, J Rock, he done dropped one. And now the hood and the people know he ain't nothing to be played with. What's doing that? What's giving that kind of power? It's that firearm. It's that weapon that you have that's given that kind of power. On your own, these young brothers would not have that kind of power. On their own, they would be weak. But when you pick up a firearm like that, and it's got 17 rounds, or you get something even bigger and you put a drum in it, and it can go 100 rounds, and you know you can bring a lot of heat, a lot of devastation real quick, that is a lot of power. So I was thinking to myself, what is the average age of men, in particular black men, who are involved with these type of situations? And the average age was between 18 and 24 years old. So then I was thinking to myself, what then, because I was starting to see a connection, and forgive me for sweating, it's a little warm. I said to myself, what then is the average age of a male who, when his brain is fully developed? And that's 25 years old. And do you all know what really brings in the full development of the brain at 25 years old? Y'all remember, some of y'all biology, different things, you'll remember the prefrontal cortex of the brain. Now, you may remember that word, but do you know what it controls? Now think about it now. Think about the ones that we see in the news all the time, unaliving people, irresponsible, immature, hand full of power. Not real power, it's fake power. It's an illusion. It's not real power. You take that out of their hand, they good for nothing. You take that out of their hand, they scatter like roaches. You take that out of their hand, they don't have no name for themselves. But in their hand, it seems like a lot of power. These kids, 18, 19, 21 years old, whose brains are not even fully developed. The prefrontal cortex, not fully developed. And guess what it controls? Impulse control, judgment, planning, decision making. And this last one here is the one that I thought, this is it right here. In the prefrontal cortex, it controls the ability to understand long-term consequences. That's why these guys can go out, do whatever they want to do, and because they're not fully developed yet, and if they already in an immature state and raised in an environment without even the assistance of what everybody else would have, they're even more delayed in their understanding, and they don't even have what it takes to understand long-term consequences, and they put themselves in a position to make lifelong this. How in the world can you take a life and you're not even mature enough to understand what it is that you are doing? How in the world is that even possible? It's a false sense of power. It's not even real power. It's a tool that you picked up and you realize this thing is bringing fear to all who see it. Yes, this thing, look at the fear, look at them run. Look at how scared, look at the respect that I get when people know that I have this. They're not really giving you the respect. They respect the tool that you have that they know can do damage. You're not no more of a man because you can carry around a firearm that can take somebody down. That's not what a real man is. But in the streets, in the hood, in the ghettos, we flip it around. What's a real man, Professor X? Real men build their communities. They protect their communities. They uplift one another. When you join up with a real brotherhood, it's all about service and being a servant to another human being, to your fellow brother or anybody that you see in need. It's building, protecting, uplifting. That's what it takes to be a man. But in the streets, though, if you soft, you're not a man. If you de-escalate, you not a man. If you walk away, you not a man. If you let it go, you not a man. And that information is being fed to young black men growing up around poverty, have no hope, brains, cortex not fully developed, not even able to understand long-term consequences, judgment, planning, decision making. But in their hand, they have this firepower and they unaliving one another every day. And the answer can't be what tells them to put it down, because now they done opened up their mouth so much and ran their mouth so much that their options, they already told them, when I see you, it's on. They can't put them down now. They got to protect themselves now because of what happened when they picked it up. When they picked it up, they ran their mouth. Now people are looking for them. We got to get you before you get us. They can't put it down now. And the saga continues. The cycle continues. We continue to see it on the news. Families continue to get ripped apart. Funerals continue to get planned. Because we have immature, irresponsible, undeveloped brains that's got power from a tool that they picked up. And the answer, if there is an answer, is somehow we have to, because if it's power that they want, somehow we have to be able to get into their thinking and offer them something beyond the power that they receive from that firearm. And poverty environments is not going to be able to produce that kind of thought process. It's not going to be able to do it. That's an atmosphere and an environment of hopelessness, and they'll never go for it. So until we figure out how to invade that space and get a hold of their minds again, and give them a skill that can give them money that's beyond minimum wage, so that they can go up and be productive and do something with their life and actually have purpose of living beyond just getting up every day smelling like a bag of weed and carrying something around that they don't even have the maturity to handle right now. We're going to continue to see this over and over and over again. How you like me now? I go blow. I'm the itch that move crowds, making every ghetto foul. Might have took your life, crippled your style. I gave you power. I made you buck wild. That's what Nas said. Let's talk about it in the comments. Y'all got it? Bye.